Hi, I am Shahzeb Khan and this is my second video on Xenia Sati channel. The first one, linked in description, is from February 1st, titled "Where is the Standoff in Ukraine Leading Europe?" And man, what's been happening since then is incredible. That standoff led to exactly the nightmare scenario we were all afraid of, a full-scale invasion. The fact that it happened stunned many people, including me. I predicted in that video that if Putin ever does send in troops, he would be focused on annexing Russian-speaking border regions of Ukraine and would avoid risking a confrontation with NATO. Then I closed off by expressing hope that peace prevails. I also thought of that as the most likely outcome because peace has been prevalent in Europe for ages now. Russia had been amassing its military forces near the border with Ukraine since October 2021, sparking fears that it would attack. Many people, of course, were inclined to believe that this was just something that would pass, like a similar Russian mobilization in spring 2021. Even Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky insisted that warnings from the West of a Russian invasion were inviting unnecessary panic and expressed belief that no invasion was coming as late as 22nd February 2022. You know, the special date with all the tools. Now we should know that this is a road we've already gone down before. In the prelude to Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union in World War II, Hitler carried out a major mobilization near the border, and Russia, then on friendly terms, refused to recognize the threat. Stalin dismissed Western intelligence reports that an invasion was coming and stubbornly clung to the hope that Hitler wouldn't betray him. Then Operation Barbarossa was launched against a relatively unprepared USSR on June 22nd, 1941. Ukraine now didn't allow itself to be unprepared, but we have been demonstrated to the adage that those who don't learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. The past, in fact, is being repeated by this war in numerous ways, reviving experiences that were previously a distant memory for Europe. There is Russia's irredentism, like what propelled European disputes in centuries past. Like the nations entering World War I, Russia apparently thought its invasion of Ukraine would be quick and easy. Instead, the war is turning out exactly like Russia's invasion of Finland in 1939. And there are all the parallels with the Nazi era, like the staged Gleiwitz attack that triggered the invasion of Poland. Russia alleged several incidents in the Ukraine border region shortly before 24th February that provided a pretext to attack. Putin first focused his offensive on capturing Kiev before giving up and redirecting towards the energy-rich Donbass. Much like Hitler first focused his advance towards Moscow before changing his pivot towards the energy-rich Azerbaijan. And behind all this is a strongman leader who came to power in a defeated and struggling country and turned it around towards a path of expansionism. War has been prolific throughout Europe's history until it became almost non-existent since 1945. The invasion Russia has chosen to launch against Ukraine has brought their brutal past back. At the same time, it is making humanity confront all sorts of novel situations. Today's war in Ukraine is the first ever fought in a country where nuclear power plants are operating. The international crisis sparked by the war includes such things as the warnings over the International Space Station crashing and the world being subject to the threat of a nuclear exchange between big powers. That last one is not at all new, but it's the first time it is resulting from a war actually taking place. And that means we're facing such issues as how the West would respond in the event that Russia deploys tactical nukes on the battlefield. All in all, this war is an extraordinary event and a profoundly important one. It is affecting the world in enormous ways, and it is going to be epoch-making, perhaps impacting the course of history more than the 9/11 attacks that started the war on terror. Remember that? And the current war is a tremendous subject to tackle. That is what we are going to be doing on this channel in our new series, War in Ukraine, History in the Making. We will be covering the conflict and how things are proceeding as much as we can, all the while focusing on exploring the war's significance for the world and putting it into a historical perspective. This series will be diving into history a lot because of all the insights it can provide us, and we'll be examining what makes the world different from in the past, which helps us in expecting what the future holds in store. This is truly a horrible war. It is bringing great death and destruction to the people of Ukraine. It is making life much harder for so many people around the world. And it is generally creating a less safe world for all of us. That is what makes it so important to understand the situation. I hope this war ends as soon as possible. I wish it ends right now. But even when it does end, it will continue to reverberate for a long time. So our series will continue to have plenty to talk about. This is going to be a big journey. I'm your host for this series, Shahzeb Khan, and I want you to subscribe to Zinia Sati so you can keep up with us in War in Ukraine, History in the Making.